Hello guys, and welcome back to another Commander featured video. So on this video I'm going to talk about Dearon. He was a commander that was added during the Battle of the Narrow Sea, and he was the leader of the Danish troops trying to get across the Narrow Sea into the mainland of Westeros. So in the game, Dearon is an infantry commander, uh, which is really weird in my opinion because, as you can see on his art, he's on top of a horse. So how we got an infantry commander on top of a horse, I don't know. It looks funky, but it's also really fun to watch. So anyway, Dearon is an infantry commander with a level 20, if you want to say, quality that is added from the game, their own little quality points. So Dearon base stats, as he is an infantry commander, he's going to give you at maximum level 50% infantry attack, 25% total defense, and here we got a new special thing that were not really used in commanders before. He reduces the enemy infantry versus allied cavalry counter ratio by 25%. It's the first time that we have this counter buff in a commander before, so I'm going to explain how this works from a report I had a few days ago, and explain you how the counter actually works. So we're here watching a report that I have a few days ago. So as you can see here, the damage between different combination of troops is always different regarding the counter ratio. So as you can see, infantry versus infantry is exactly 100%, so there's no change there. But when you go infantry versus cavalry, for example, you deal half of that damage. But if you go versus spear, you deal double damage, and versus bowmen, which they don't have a counter, is exactly the same. So what Dearon actually gives you is reduced damage when you go for inf versus cav. So that's actually really good if you are strongly stuck on playing inf. He's gonna give you some damage reduction when you get attacked by full cav, or he's gonna reduce the damage you take if you go for an infantry and the enemy has a cavalry formation as a front line. But it's actually really useful, but also not really useful if you know the enemy formation and you can go around it. So I would prefer to have something different there, but yet again, it provides an interesting dynamic into the game. So moving on, let's check his skills. His active skill on the rebel leaders, for example, he's gonna deal 6000 damage and stun from a circular area, just like Chris's one. Next, he attacks the furthest enemy, but if he's a rally leader, a rebel leader, it's not gonna be, it's only one enemy, and he's gonna have increased attack by 3600 for 90 seconds, so about the whole duration of a rebel leader. But here is where it's really interesting. So when Dearon attacks the same target, the attack speed increases continuously, and if the target changes, the bonus attack is lost. But again, when you go against a rebel leader, he's gonna deal a huge amount of damage because his attack speed is going to increase on every attack he does. And lastly, this one, he just recovers health for every attack, and you combine that with battle focus, he's gonna be on full health, so he could be a really good frontline tank for the rebel builders or the training grounds. But let's go where he becomes really interesting, and that's the Awakening. So his Awakening skill is as follows. When the allied front row lands a total of 50 normal attacks, Dearon deals damage to all enemies, and if the enemy is inflicted by bleed, they take damage one extra time with a coefficient of 150%. So what that means in the actual fight is that he is not useful at all with the weakness formations. He's gonna go for a bleed commander, so you are going to use him on a Clegane formation, for example, where the bleed is gonna add an extra attack with a bigger bonus of 150%. So if you pair him with Sinara as well and you keep stacking the normal attacks, he's gonna deal a lot of damage. But here there's also a bit of a counter on his active level 4 skill for the Awakening, is that if the enemy is one line, this skill it's gonna deal less damage than usual, because when he said that he's gonna attack all enemies, and if the enemy has only one line, he's gonna deal another attack to the only line that the enemy has. So he's really good against, in my opinion, he's really good against the weakness formation, for example, because he's going to be able to attack all the enemy lines, and since the full weakness goes for 3 lines usually to get the maximum weakness, he's a good counter to the weakness lineup. So all in all, he looks like a pretty good commander, but I believe that he's highly situational, especially with the anti-counter skill that he has, and he has his usefulness on the bleed commanders for sure, but I don't think that right now is the best tier 5 commander that you can get up to max. So that was my like 7 minute look into Dearon. I hope you enjoyed it, and I see you on the next one.
I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire.